Hey y'all, here I am back under the lemon tree. And thank God I'm here, y'all. This past week has been but I'm getting my voice back and I'm getting my voice back. So I'm gonna speak on it. I'm 39 today, y'all. Chocolate don't chip. Clock that. This way. But yeah, God's just been having me reflect on a lot, making me recognize that it's been 20 years since I became an adult. It's a myth. Adulthood is a myth. Um, in 18 going into 19, God had me really go back, and God's been bringing things back to my remembrance that I was involved in, things that He brought me through around that time. Crazy circumstances that I didn't even recognize were so pivotal and dynamic and traumatizing, and cycles that, oh Lord, cycles that was in for years begin at that age. Oh Lord, okay. It's like a shedding of things that attached to me around that time. My son is about to be 18 years old in September, so it's making me recognize a lot. But around that time, shoot, God took me up out of Fresno, where I did a majority of like my living with my mom growing up. And I was involved in things and I didn't even know how heavy they were. But I went to go live with my dad for the first time when I was 18 going into 19. And at that time I had a boyfriend. We were off and on. It was like young love. And plus, at that time we didn't have cell phones. I didn't have no cell phone, I don't think, at that time. Yeah, God took it away. But I had a little Nokia for a little bit. But yeah, my boyfriend's mom's phone was getting turned off, and then I moved away, and we didn't really keep in contact with each other a lot until I went back to visit for Christmas break. Around that time, lost multiple friends in Fresno. People were getting killed left and right. Like gang violence was through the roof. Like retaliation was ridiculous. And my boyfriend, he was involved in that life. And I really didn't recognize how deep he was involved in it at the time, because I really didn't understand all the dynamics of that life at all. But yeah, last time I saw him was December 28th, which was December 28th. And then I went back to Victorville with my dad, and I came back for spring break. In that time, his phone wasn't on, so I didn't know what had been going on. And now that I realize it, God allowed everything in His timing to separate me from that life, from those situations, for a reason. Like there was a purpose behind why I wasn't living in Fresno anymore, because I could have very well been involved and been around things that I shouldn't have been around. Lord. So I went back for spring break and found out that on March 17th that he had been murdered. And broke me, because I missed everything. I missed the funeral. The day he died was February 28th. So I was crushed. This was something that was so painful for me. And around that same time, like 18 going into 19, I had got into the worst car accident of my life, where I'm just driving down the street and ooh, yeah, this was 19, I think, going into 20, but just along those lines, yeah. It's 19 going into 20. I was with a friend riding up the street, and she didn't want to drive, but her grandson was in the car. I saw her buckle him in. I was very careful because I was scary, you know, checking on my mirrors, everything. We go down some S turns in Victorville. I tried to put my foot on the brake, and the brake goes to the ground. Try to get control of the wheel, and then next thing you know, we flipped like 4 times. Whew, okay. So we're gonna do this. We flipped 4 times. I woke up, I was on my side. Her window was on the ground. I was above her hanging, and then we realized we couldn't find the baby anywhere. Oh, Lord. Only people that knew me from around this time knew that I had went through this and how impactful it was in my life, because I carried it with me for a very long time. But I got out of the car and went around and saw the baby pinned under the car halfway. That baby had learned my name that day. He was 2 years old. His sweetheart. such a like moment that I just can't erase the visual out of my head. But a part of the reason why I'm telling that story is because something that I saw that day that I recognize now is the grandmother of that baby, the friend that was in the car. The first thing she did when she finally was able to get out of the car was she saw her grandbaby. She lifted her hands. I'd never seen that before. She lifted her hands and she started praising God. And I didn't understand it then. I was panicking. My head was busted in. There was blood everywhere. I didn't even know it was my blood. I was so stuck on the fact that I was driving, and then I was looking at this baby alive 1 second and then gone the next. And his grandmother looked at the same thing, and the only thing in her that she knew how to do was lift her hands. I'm going to have to do a part 2. But that stuck with me. Even though I wasn't able to drive for a long time, I was scared to have children. I was traumatized forever. I had people that like to use that circumstance and that situation to throw in my face and make me feel even worse. It took a long time for me to even be able to drive, especially on the freeway, because sounds did something. There was a trigger for me there. But I was able to get peace with it 10 years later when I ended up seeing that same grandmother in Moreno Valley, out of all places. And she didn't recognize me at first, but then when I told her who I was, she just looked at me and said, "That wasn't your fault." And that broke something off of me.